Hello, this is Annie from Miss Annie's Home and Kitchen, and I'm here with my mom.
Hello.
And my mom is going to be teaching you today how to make a yummy, delicious apple pie. It's one of my very, very favorite things. So I'm just going to turn it over to my mom. She has some really cool tricks that she's going to show you, and I hope you enjoy. All right, Mama.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am so happy to be able to share with you what I do. That is make apple pie making so easy. It is one of our family's favorite recipes, and I'm often asked to bake an apple pie when they come home from all over the country. So what I like to do first is roll out my crusts and have them ready. So I take this is actually a brand new plastic bag. I fold it a couple of times like this, cut the ends off, because I want to be able to handle this crust and not have it break up. My mom taught me how to make pies. However, Mom could handle the pie crust by rolling it in flour, picking it up and all that. I never mastered that. And so this is the easiest way I've ever found. Take your Walmart bag, cut both ends off, slip the side down so you can open it up like that. And then I just take a little damp cloth, wipe the counter because it will stick to the counter and not roll all over the place. So let me take a minute and roll this out. This pie crust is a no-fail pie crust, and we did a video on that. So go look for the video on how to make this no-fail pie crust. It's got a little surprise ingredient in it, but it never fails to turn out nice and tender. And so let me just quickly roll this out for the top. I already have the bottom ready. And then we'll proceed with making this amazing apple pie. In a second here. Very exciting, isn't it? Rolling this pie out. But it is so good, this crust, when we're done. If it looks like the plastic is wrinkling, you just pull it up, spread it out, and go back to rolling. I love this method of rolling out a pie crust. And again, the recipe is on the video that Annie did the other day on making this surprise ingredient, no fail, delicious pie crust. Even a beginner can use this pie crust recipe, and I promise it's that good and simple. Okay, I believe this is the right size. Let me show you the other thing I do to them. And we explain that in the recipe that we wrote up for this. So, you always want to have steam vents in your pie crust so that lets the steam out. And I just cut a few little slits in this. And this is ready to go for the top of this pie. So let me move this over.
Let me grab this.
Yes, please. And here's our already prepared bottom crust. So, I've taken the apples and sliced them. Let me show you, let me demonstrate on this slicing here a little bit. Oh, get that out of the way, because this is another trick that I have found. I love to use the skins so I don't peel my apples. I've got this one cored, I've cut them in half. And then the old-fashioned way was to sit here and slice them like this. Oh no, I gotta not do that. So down and just slice little thin pieces, just like this. So much easier and quicker. They bake up perfectly this way. And let me just show you. Alrighty, that's it. I get those all prepared. Here, Miss Annie. mix them in a little bit because we already have these already cut up, ready to go. And if you'll notice, the slices are quite thin. Perfect, okay? All right, then for the filling, or this, I take a half a cup of brown sugar, a half a cup of white sugar, a third of a cup of flour because these apples get really juicy and yummy, and the flour will help thicken that up for serving. A teaspoon and a half of cinnamon, and a half a teaspoon of nutmeg. I always put this in a separate bowl instead of dumping it in on the apples because you don't want clumps of flour mixed in there, and then you have, you know, lumpy gravy. So we're not going to do that. We just mix this all in until it's thoroughly mixed together. Once in a while you have a few lumps of brown sugar, so I just mash them against the side of the bowl. And there we go. Perfect. So you can see how that is mixed up. Put that in on top of your apples. My favorite way is to have a bowl big enough that I can just take and mix it up like this. I can't bend it over and really show you or it'll fall out the edge. But this mixes that all in there really well. Okay, just a little stir just to be sure that I have most of it up. And all the apples are thoroughly coated. As you can see, they are. Oop, there's a couple that escaped, but that's all right. All right, that's perfect. And then I just put them in the pan, the pie pan. Thank you, Miss Annie. Just like this.
I'll let you do your magic, Mama.
Okay. Whoops. I don't really arrange them. I do want them up against the side, but not on the pie crust that's already in there, because you want it to seal really well. Can you see this? Oops. And it's piled up a little bit high over the edge. That's fine because apples bake down and it is so good. I love putting this together because I can even smell it now with all the cinnamon. Sometimes I cheat and take a taste of the apple too with the cinnamon on it. Mm-hmm. Yummy. Okay, that's good. Oh, forgot the butter, Miss Annie. I forgot one ingredient as we were getting prepared here, but my handy dandy assistant is here to save the day. And what I like to do is just take thin little slices of butter. It just makes it taste so good. And dot the top with these thin slices of butter. It ends up being about 2 tablespoons of thinly sliced butter that go on the top. For those that are new to the channel, Annie always has the recipe, so you don't need to try to write it all down at the end of the videos. Oops, almost finished here. All right, I see one more spot. I love a little bit of butter on this. Here we are. Okay, we're in good shape. See that? A little butter on the top. Now, we've already done the pie crust top. And the thing I love about having it on this bag is that you can just pick this up so easily. and put it wherever you need it without it causing a problem. You can just move it around. So I flop it over the top. Easily pull off the plastic bag. There we go. And then we'll just flute the edges. Can you see the slits in the top? Already cut up.
Come around and flute it a little closer. Okay.
And then I just press the edges together. I get it where I want it, and then I'll go back over and flute it. It is the season for apple pie. That smell in the air, yummy. Although, when is that not the season for a homemade apple pie, right? We've used Granny Smith apples in this particular pie, and they're wonderful, but if you don't have Granny Smiths, you can also use other ones. Okay, now I've got that all done. I'm just gonna go around, flute this up a little bit. Give it a little bit of, and I promise, those of you that don't like crust, ooh, you'll be surprised at this recipe. It's so tender and flaky. Okay, almost finished here. I could tell as I went around, I have a little bit of leftover crust around the edges, and so I just take and trim it just like that. All right, one last thing that I love to do. My mother always did it. Probably her mother always did it. It doesn't really make a difference, but to me, it makes it a little bit prettier. And so then I just sprinkle a little bit of sugar on the top. I just like the way that it looks. Now, this pie, I bake mine a little bit different than a lot of people that you'll see. I bake it at 350. This takes 55 minutes. And you'll see juice bubbling around the edge and maybe some in the top. And then my other little tricky secret to make sure that it's all perfect is just shut the oven off and leave it in another 30 minutes or so. It will be perfect. Your crust will be golden brown because at 350 degrees, it doesn't burn it. And so you don't have to do anything fancy, and you've got something beautiful. So we'll put this in the oven. And when it's finished, we'll be back to show you the finished product. All right, thank you so much for listening.
Isn't she amazing? Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to try this delicious yummy pie. So thanks, yes, for joining us, and we will be back soon in about an hour. Take care. Okay, the pie is finished. It looks so delicious. And Mom is gonna tell you how long we baked it and her little trick at the end. So. Here we go, Mom.
All right. Oh my gosh, this kitchen smells so good. And this pie baked for 55 minutes at 350 degrees. If you bake it low like that and long, your crust is beautiful. It doesn't burn. And that's what's exciting about this. And then the last thing we do, is my little secret, is shut the oven off after the 55 minutes and leave it in another 30 minutes or so, because it just makes sure that the apples are all tender. So good. Your family's gonna love you.
All right, thanks for joining us. Take care, everyone.